Let's see, today is Tuesday. Yeah, day number 4 here in Mississippi. Got a beautiful day again. It's gonna be about 79, 80 degrees, clear skies, almost no wind. I'm headed back in here where I hunted yesterday afternoon, but I'm gonna try and get all the way to the bottom before it gets to be gobbling time. So we've got about, I don't know, about a 20-minute walk or so. And it should be just almost close enough to be time to start hitting the owl hooter. See if we can get one to gobble. But we're gonna work a little bottom that's back here. I'm hoping the birds, well, from the sign I'm seeing, the few tracks I've found since I've been here, since Monday, the last 2 days I've been hunting the public. The tracks are in those little bottom areas where it's greened up a little bit and seems to be more food and it's not as thick. They're not really hanging in these pines. So I'm gonna work those bottoms all morning and hopefully we can get on a bird this morning. All right, 6:40. I left the truck at 6 o'clock on the dot and been walking steady ever since. It's a long ways back here. And I'm hoping that means that it rarely gets messed with. But anyway, I'm pretty close to that little bottom. But I wanted to stop right here before I got there. There's some private land behind me. I think it's about 100 yards maybe. It's the edge of it. They got some fields there. And I wanted to sit here and listen in case there's birds gobbling in this area that are working to that field in the morning. If nothing's here, then I'll move on to the bottoms. But I keep calling it bottoms, but it's just, I don't know what other way to describe it. It's about the same level as the rest of the ground out here. I mean, it just drops off maybe a little bit. You can't even really notice it with the eyes, but enough rambling. I'm gonna sit here quietly and listen. And I might throw an owl hoot out there too, but just gonna see what's in this area before I move on to those bottoms. I don't know if you guys could hear that in the video, but there's a hunter up there calling. I'm guessing he came in on the private, or he's on the private. Sounds like he's up there in that field, but I'm moving away from him. That's the first calls I heard from him this morning, so I don't know if he's walking around. Maybe he's on the public, came in from the other side, but that's like 2 miles away. Anyway, we're not heading towards him and heading away from him, so we'll be okay. No tracks yet. I've been following this little creek here. I haven't seen any turkey tracks, but I'm gonna keep looking and I'll make a call when I get away from this hunter a little farther. These are some beautiful woods right here. Fairly open. And lots of greenery for the turkeys to eat. Right along the creek here. This reminds me of my honey hole turkey spot back in South Carolina when I was younger. Drop out of the pines. Now they don't have hills here, but South Carolina was hills with pines. They'd drop into these bottoms. The turkeys would roost around the fringes, and then end up in the bottoms. Sometimes they'd roost in the bottoms, but most times it was fairly close to the transition line there. And like there, you didn't see a whole lot of sign in the bottoms. You found some tracks here and there, and then you would come up on an area that was just raked over and over. So I'm hoping that's going to be the case here. I'm going to find a spot that's been raked over pretty good, and I'm going to set up on it. And usually those are good spots. I know in South Carolina, when I'd set up on those, I'd say 25% of the time, I'd have a bird to work. He'd gobble, or they'd sneak in, I'd shoot them. I've been walking the ridges and hooting, and a couple of instances where I did a coyote howl, but I cannot get a bird to gobble. But you know, it doesn't mean they're just not talking. Maybe there's none back here. Big decision to make tonight. I'm definitely not coming back in here, but I have another spot in the public that I'd like to check out, and I've been contemplating just going into the private land over at Mr. Cave's in the morning, and then heading up to the public land later in the morning after the birds maybe lost their hens, or unless the hunters in there, you know, they leave to go get a biscuit. So I don't know, I'll think about it tonight and make a decision, and then we'll go from there. So I guess you guys will find out tomorrow morning where I decide to go. Alright, it's just getting light here in Mississippi. This morning I'm hunting Mr. Cave's place. It's very convenient to hunt this morning. The other place I've been hunting is a long ways away. And figured I'd hunt here first thing this morning, see what I hear, maybe shoot one if I'm lucky, and then go do some editing. And then a little bit later in the morning, go hit the public. I got a spot that I want to cover really well, but I didn't want to spend the entire day there, but I wanted to be there this evening in order to roost birds. So I'm gonna go late morning, and then I'll spend the last half of the day back in there walking around looking for sign, and then try to roost birds. So that's my strategy for the day. If I kill one here, then all I can do is scout and try to roost one this evening, but that would be nice, I guess. But I'd really like to get one on the public. So we'll wait for it to finish getting light here. Maybe we'll hear a gobble here soon. All right, we just heard one gobble. We know where he's at. He's way down there. That really boosts my morale. Mr. Caves killed his bird about 200 to 300 yards that way. And the birds came from this direction. That's why they gobbled down this way. So we can get him a gobble again. It's actually that way. Another one just gobbled way off. They've been scratching in here. I think I can set up right up under that big green bush there and call them right up here. I wonder if he's on the ground. He didn't gobble last time that crow called. When I last heard that bird gobble, it sounded like he was farther away and off to the right a little bit. There is a power line over that way, and that might be where I end up eventually. Those, that group of birds that came in when Mr. Cave shot his started out over here somewhere. So it's very possible they roosted in the same spot and then worked this bottom and came up. So we'll just sit here patiently for a little while, at least a half hour. It's just after 7 o'clock. Haven't heard that bird gobble in a little while. So I'm gonna hit my pot call here and see if I can get a gobble out of him. I got him. I didn't get any footage. There's no way I was gonna get footage of that. He snuck in right behind me. I didn't know this little nice open lane was here. I wish I'd known how open it was right here, and that just goes to show you knowing terrain is key. And I didn't know it was open like this, or I would have set up closer to here. But he come up right this little hillside here, and I'm way over there in the thick stuff. Man, that was crazy. Every time he'd go behind some brush, I would reposition the gun, trying to get it. I had to shoot left-handed, and I've never shot a bird left-handed before. I could hear him spitting and drumming coming up the hill. What was it? I think it was 7:07. I said 7:27. It's been 20 minutes. Oh man, that's crazy. That was exciting. When I heard him drumming, I guess I'm a little speechless right now. Not a bad bird at all. Nice sharp spurs, look like they're about 3/4 of an inch long. Not too bad of a beard. I'm curious if this was one of the 2 remaining birds with that group of 3 that came in the other day with Mr. Caves. Bird was roosted back up on that hillside over there this morning. And by the time I got set up, he'd already flown down, and it sounded like he was over that way, quite a ways off. I went ahead and stayed where I was at and figured if he was lonely that I could call him in. So hit the calls, and he finally gobbled to him. And then it was a little while later, I hit the pot call just to see where he's at, because he hadn't gobbled in a while, and he gobbled down in the bottom. And then I just sat there quietly hoping he'd come up here. And I was trying to get my 360 camera put in the ground and ready. He must have come in a hurry, because all of a sudden I heard spitting and drumming coming up the hill. I could hear the spit really loud. At first I thought it was something walking in leaves, but yeah, he come right up this lane. And I'm right over there somewhere. But he walked, see, right up this lane here. It looks like an old roadbed of some sort. Let me get right here where I can show you well. And so, yeah, I'm tucked in that big green bush there. Right about in here somewhere, he caught moving. I was trying to get the gun left-handed, and he stopped and he looked. But you know, you see how thick that is in there. I mean, you're not gonna see anything up in there. And I had holes to shoot through, and I was just mainly trying to get it in the left-hand position, shooting position. And let's see, it was right about here. Yeah, I already got swapped around. And he was standing right here. I was a little worried, because being that it was left-handed, never done that before. But you know, it's no different than right-handed. You're just using a different eye and different arm. And I had to be right on him, and obviously it did the trick. I'm shooting those TSS number 9s. Apex made this round actually, and they were nice enough. The laser, callingallturkeys.com, right on my shell. So I'm gonna put that shell, that spent shell. Here's the spent one. I'm gonna put it, I don't know, I might display the fan and put the, like one of those shadow boxes or whatever they're called. That'd be cool. Spurs and the fan and the spent shell. You know, the reason I hunted this track today is, number one, I was beat from the last 2 days of hunting public, from you know, I'd get up at 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning. It was an hour drive to where I was hunting. And then I would walk back there at least a mile, sometimes 2, just to start my day. Yesterday morning I left the truck at 6 a.m. and I walked steady till 6:40. I mean, I didn't stop at all. I was steady walking on the trail to get to my starting point, my listening point. And then I hear a guy shoot, so congrats to him. But just basically what I'm saying is I've been going at it hard the past 2 days and spending a lot of time out there. I went and hung out with the THP guys last night for a few minutes, and by the time I got home it was 11 o'clock. By the time I dumped footage and everything, it was 12:30. Got a shower, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, there's no way I can get up in 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and do it all over again. So I figured I would just take it easy and hunt this place right here, and then do some editing this morning, and then head up to the public this afternoon. Well, now I've filled my tag, 1 bird a day here in Mississippi. I'm gonna just be scouting the public for tomorrow's hunt. Tomorrow's the last day for me here in Mississippi. I could hunt Friday morning, but I'm content with 1 bird, so if I get a second one, that'll just be a bonus. But headed off to Florida, so I'll probably leave Thursday night and drive through the night to get to Florida and spend the first day there, I guess, scouting, and then we'll get to start hunting on Saturday. So, yeah, this was fun. Yeah, I came in here and I set up like a little green field back up there, and just to sit there and listen, because it's kind of a high point. And where this bird was roosted this morning was where I went the other day after Mr. Cave shot his bird. I made a loop. I ended up right about where that bird was roosted. And then I worked my way back to the house. He gobbled to my owl hooting this morning. And then after that, he gobbled a couple more times to crows and whatnot. And so I slipped into here, and unfamiliar with this area, because when I did my loop the other day, I was way off that way, and it was thick over there. And so when I came in here this morning, it was thick here. No idea there was a nice clear lane right here. Now I know. This will be a good place to set up, you know, if I ever come back here, you know, next year or the year after. But, you know, there's no big trees in here to speak of, and it's so brightly lit because of these small trees. I just felt that I would be, you know, sticking out like a sore thumb in here, so I got up under that big green bush there. It's got some shadows, and then I would just blend right in. The one thing I noticed was to my right that I really didn't have a chance to shoot, and I was hoping that the bird come up in here. There's like a little drop off here. I was hoping he'd come up on this little ledge here and give me a shot. I was fiddling with the 360 camera and having trouble getting it to work, and apparently there's something wrong with the SD card. It's not being able to write to it quick enough. Anyway, while I was fiddling with it, I thought it was like footsteps in the leaves. What it was his spit. And he was doing it so often that it sounded like footsteps in leaves. And then I got to where I could hear it easily, and I'm like, oh, there's a spit. And then I'd hear the drum also. And I could tell he was off to my right a little bit, and I didn't like that, so I soft yelped to my left, trying to cast my calls that way. It didn't work. It was too late. He continued to come up this way, and then I'm thinking, okay, what can I do? And I was gonna just let him go on by, and I'm like, nah, it's gonna be difficult to call him back. He'll probably go up to that little green clearing up there and sit up there and gobble. And there goes my opportunity. So I decided to take a risk and change to a left-handed shot. The problem was it was so tight, and there was vines and sticks, I didn't have enough room to maneuver. And I was taking advantage of all these little trees here. Every time he'd start to go behind one, I'd move. And at one point, I actually was moving when he was where he could see me, and he caught my movement, and he stopped there for a little bit. Then he started walking and went behind some thicker stuff, and I went ahead and just moved the gun the whole time. I knew I wasn't going to get it if I just kept doing a little bit, so I just took a chance and swung it around in left hand. I saw him. I almost shot him, but he moved out of the little opening. I could see another one up there, and I just aimed at the next opening, hoping that he would step into it. And sure enough, he stepped into it, and he stopped and looked at me, and well, my gun didn't go more of a boom, but fun hunt. Yeah, I just wish I'd got some video of it, but it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta make sacrifices, and I sacrificed video this morning to get a kill, but it was fun. And I hope you guys enjoyed the hunt, even though there's really no video of the footage of the shot. It is what it is. And maybe my 360 camera caught a little bit over my shoulder. I doubt it, because from the angle it was at, it's very unlikely that it saw past me. I won't know until I go look at the footage. Fun. Looks like it's starting to rain now. I hear a few drops. All right, this afternoon we'll head up to the public and see if we can roost one there. Let's do the blackout.